The second DLC for Marvel's Midnight Suns has dropped with the very powerful Venom joining the party. I now finished his new story content where he shows off with bursting spike attacks and even brings a symbiote web in a can that you can use in combat. So let's go over Venom's ravenous abilities, many sweet new interactions with Spider-Man, Abby upgrades, and way more. There are no DLC story spoilers whatsoever, thanks to 2K for sponsoring this video. Totally check the game and the DLC out by the link in the description, with a free trial now available on Xbox and PlayStation through PS Plus, where your progress will carry over to the full game. A like would really support the channel, and let's go. While you could already unlock Deadpool after playing the first main mission of the game, you will have to be further into the story to start this Venom DLC. Venom of course fell to the likes of Lilith, so it was up to us to defeat him, which we did for the final time during the Shattering Expectations mission, which is near the end of the first part of the game. Once you have completed that, you get access to the 3 new DLC story quests. Finish the first one and Venom is unlocked for your team, so also available in a lot of main game content. While you can get the Venom DLC separately, the story is a continuation of the first Season Pass expansion, so it's recommended to play the Deadpool content first. Evil vampires are still roaming the streets of New York City and they took hold of Venom this time, so it's up to us to free Venom from his new vampire curse by taking on a deal with another major character, I won't spoil here, who offered to help us in exchange for defeating the vampires. And it's not surprising that Spider-Man also plays a big role in these new DLC missions, which I really love. The fact that Yuri Lowenthal returned for this part makes the back and forth with Venom even more fun and sometimes wholesome to look at. You really feel how despite everything they still care about each other. The best part is when they work together in cutscenes to defeat the vampires.
You got my back? I got yours.
Brothers in vamp slime. Let's do this.
Or even team up in combat with a heroic combo ability. Can't get enough of them. Venom arrives in his common black and white suit, but just like with the other characters, if you are able to open a lot of chests in the Abbey area, which you can easily do after increasing your arcane knowledge level, you can unlock different color schemes almost immediately. They go from crazy colors like red and blue to this awesome black and orange one. And if you get the legendary edition, you will have access to the anti-Venom suit from the comics, and you can even wear the Fallen Venom suit from the main story of the game that comes with unlockable color schemes as well. There's of course also the special Midnight Suns legendary outfit, but for this you need to max out Venom his friendship level, or actually Eddie Brock's friendship level. Because one major difference compared to the other characters is that Venom won't show up in the Abbey. He of course consists of 2 people, the symbiote and Eddie Brock, its host. So while you can change the daily outfit for most Midnight Suns into their combat suit, this is not the case for Eddie. Eddie also mentioned this while the hunter asked to talk to Venom, saying that that's not how it works. He's not deranged, he just shares a body with an alien symbiote. So you will be raising Eddie's friendship level instead, which will have an impact on Venom's combat power. So totally give him compliments, do hangouts, and bring him to a haven after finding a location on the Abbey grounds. By doing this, you will easily reach friendship level 2 and unlock Venom's passive combat ability called We Are Venom, which has everything to do with their status affecting combat. More on his combat moves in a moment, but let's first go over some other amazing new features he brings to the Midnight Suns. This Venom DLC namely comes with a new research project that lets you tweak general missions to your liking. It's called Whisper Web and can be unlocked at research level 8 after playing at least 3 missions with Venom. It is a war room upgrade that grants the ability to add modifiers to general missions when selecting them from the mirror table. The first upgrade lets you change the difficulty and the hero leading the mission for a small intel fee, which is really handy for if you want to level up a certain character, with lower difficulty missions of course meaning a higher chance of success. The new vampire type enemies also show up in general missions after finishing the DLC, so you can battle them again, but if you don't like the current leader for that mission, you can just change them with this new research station. The second upgrade, by the way, also lets you change the additional rewards you get for completing the general missions. But that's not all. This Venom expansion also comes with a new combat item called the Symbiote Bomb, which unlocks after upgrading 2 of Venom's abilities. By throwing this to an enemy in combat, it binds them to the ground using symbiote webs, restraining them so they aren't able to attack. Quite useful when you want to keep a big boss or a high health target at bay, giving you more time to think about your next strategy. But Venom as a character will also really come in handy during combat. First of all, they are really tanky and can take a lot of hits, but next to that he also has some great active skills. As always, you start with 4 and eventually unlock new skills by analyzing gamma coils at Tony Stark at the Forge. You've got your basic attacks like Tendril Strike that lets you use your symbiote to shoot at 2 enemies at the same time, and Web Toss, which lets you use symbiote webs to knock an enemy back in any chosen direction. So into the environment or into each other for extra damage on impact. Because Venom is known for devouring his enemies, the Tasty Brains heroic ability literally does that, where he attacks the enemy to then steal their health to heal up. Very handy to keep the tank in your party alive, and especially use it on high health targets to get more health back in return. Venom also got the Symbiotic Bind skill, which you can use on any enemy to bind them to the ground to restrain them. Now there is a way to increase Venom's damage to ultimate proportions with his special status effect called Ravenous. At the start of every combat encounter, Venom starts with a full Ravenous meter, which you find on the bottom left side of the screen. This increases his damage. Every time Venom uses an attack or heroic ability, you use one of these bars and he regains one at the start of every turn. So it's smart to use a full Ravenous meter in combination with one of Venom's most powerful heroic abilities like Tasty Brains, or my absolute favorite, Spike Burst, where he damages multiple enemies in an area. You also have the Lethal Embrace ability, where you deal the most damage if the target is full health, so totally use the Ravenous meter to your advantage as the damage increases are really noticeable. There are also abilities that do not consume any Ravenous, like Symbiotic Senses that lets you draw an extra attack or heroic card, or lets you gain an additional Ravenous bar like Insatiable Hunger. Both cards help you get a full Ravenous meter when you are not able to use a heroic ability yet, so that when you have the necessary heroism, you can activate the card and benefit from a lot of extra damage. This effect can also be added to some attacks or heroic abilities by upgrading them in the Abbey, so even more cards don't consume Ravenous, which results in keeping the bar full at most times during combat. And his passive ability, We Are Venom, can make sure that 25% of his attacks do not consume Ravenous, so you can more easily keep your damage as high as possible. Again, spending time with Eddie to increase that friendship level is really worth it. The max friendship level is needed for Venom's legendary heroic ability called Assimilation, which adds the quick effect to all attacks and heroic abilities and lets you draw an extra card with each knockout. So the more enemies you take out, the more cards you can play, so chaining this right makes sure Venom can easily clear the battlefield, making him an excellent damage hero too. So despite Venom's DLC being a lot more serious than Deadpool's missions, I still had a really fun time playing with his character, especially at moments where I could defeat many enemies at once. Again, check out Midnight Suns via the special link in the video description, with the trials also available on console. You can also check out the video on the Deadpool DLC by clicking on the screen. Subscribe for more Midnight Suns content, a like would really help us out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!